Evening, everyone, and welcome back to another live stream. I hope everyone is doing well. Of course, this was going to happen, like we did say a few days ago. If we do get any more transfers, etc., then of course we'll be chatting all things about that. I will also leave a link later on. I'll tell you when I post it. I'll leave a link in the chat of the StreamYard link if anyone wants to come on. And talk about the new signings, etc. You can come on. Of course, there's a lot of controversy, with one of the signings, obviously in particular. But yeah, we're also streaming on because I've got the new plan on StreamYard. It's also being streamed on my Facebook, which is Charlie Hayne. So you can also watch it on Facebook and on my other Facebook page, One Rovers Vlogs. So it's on there. But yeah, leave a like. If you're watching it on the replay, leave your thoughts in the comments below after the stream has ended. If you're watching now and you haven't already, leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Of course, joined by Neil. We've also got one of my mates who's a Lincoln fan. He's going to be coming on around 8:30 to chat about James Wilson. I did try to get an Ipswich fan on and a Barnsley fan on to chat about Wilson and Luke Thomas respectively, but they were busy. But yeah, joined by Neil. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. No sweat.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Yeah, I've got quite a lot of people tuned in, 32 of you in so far. So thanks to everyone. And thanks to everyone that joined early and was posting comments. Charlie Boy's here. UTG is here. We got Remix is in the house. We got Luke 1883. Yeah, Fleetwood got Danny Mayer. Yeah, Neil. I did know about Broom. But yeah, Neil was messing me about that. And yeah, Danny Mayer as well to Fleetwood. I think they're gonna do well next season. They had a very good season, finished mid-table. Even into Mitch as well. All right, Charlie and Neil, all good, thanks. What do you think about Jevani Brown? I think that's a class signing. Yeah, it is. We'll get on to all the different ones, even into Wayne Clark as well. And yeah, if there's anyone in on Facebook as well, then do get your comments as well. I do read all the comments. But yeah, we are back. Have you heard about the Max Power rumor that he was at the training ground? Says Joey's cap. I have. I wasn't gonna get into that because I didn't know how many people would know about it, because I know one of my mates that lets me know of like all the information. But yeah, we'll get into that as well. Actually, might as well get into that first. It makes sense. He's Scouse. He got a load of experience, of course. He would be another signing on a free, which is the good thing so far. That, of course, all our signings so far, we haven't paid for any of them. Obviously, there will be a small signing on fee, etc. But he's got a few promotions. He's won the league as well. Obviously, I think he got relegated last season with Wigan, but obviously that was a total shambles. Now it's sorted. But yeah, been at Sunderland, Wigan, come through the academy at Tranmere. Got a load of appearances. What's your thoughts on Max Power? Because for me, I think he's basically sort of like a Coots replacement, but obviously younger. He's sort of still in his prime, 29 years of age, and he's a more of a defensive-minded midfielder and a leader because he's been captain as well. So what do you make of the possibility of us signing Max Power on a free?
That's the first I've heard of it, mate, to be honest. That was the first I've heard of it just then. And to be honest, I didn't even consider him for like recruitment because I didn't think we'd ever get him. Like, you look at them clubs that he's played for, the salaries he must be earning. I know he's Scouse and we've got a big Scouse contingent, but he's never been South. You know, he's never played South, and he's creeping into like 30 plus. And most players want a locations big for him when they get to that sort of age. So if we can land that deal, I think that's the biggest statement of intent out of all of them to date, I think, if we can get that done.
Yeah, because it's crazy, isn't it? Like you said, he's always played up north. Obviously, he's from around the Tranmere area, played for Tranmere, come up for the youth academy. Like I said, Sunderland, Wigan. Is there anyone else? I can't think at the top of my head at the moment. But like you said, he's all played, being a Northerner, he's always played for, teams close to him as well. So, yeah, first I heard as well, my mate rang me up and was like, oh, have you seen that? And a few other people actually said to me on Facebook as well. So I heard talk of Gavin Whyte as well, the winger. I think he's a Northern Ireland international on a free. Got released from Cardiff, played for Oxford, Hull, etc. But yeah, apparently, yeah, Max Power was at the training ground today. So yeah, like you said, it's mad, isn't it, to even think of that. Like you said, he's played for such big clubs and big salary. Of course, wouldn't have to pay for him, but I should imagine he probably could go up to one of the highest earners. I think Scott Sinclair is the highest one at the moment. I don't know whether it's £7,000 or £9,000. I think it's £7,000. I don't think Rovers would ever pay anyone £9,000 a week. But yeah, he would be quality, wouldn't he? Because I think he's similar to Rossiter, but obviously the fact with Rossiter is he had that really big injury. I'm not sure if he's back in pre-season yet because I'm pretty sure he had a setback with the injury he got. So yeah, I think he would be quality, wouldn't he? Like the sort of player he is, he can bring a lot to the table, can't he? If he does sign.
He reminds me of he's like a poor man's version of Norwood at Sheffield United. Do you know what I mean? You get a lot of protection around him. You can get a couple of dogs around him and a lot of protection around him to allow him to get on the ball. His ball retention's good. His passing range is excellent. But you need to get a lot of protection around him to let him, do his work. And we've already got that, Finley, Rossiter, etc. So like all the pieces are in place for him to sort of play in our side. But it's another one of those. We went back to it every time we talk about transfers and going into a window. Unless we had Joey, if we didn't have Joey, we wouldn't be linked with these players. They just wouldn't be interested. Do you know what I mean? It's just his pulling power. He can get these sort of things done, and I just think he elevates our sort of our transfers, our signing, and our profile really for players that want to come and play for us.
Yeah, because like you said, if it was any other Rovers manager, Trollope, Coughlin, Clark, you can list them off.
Well, I mean, I could be wrong, but I just can't see it. I just think that's the additional little bit of a pull, to be honest, to drag someone who has clearly got more than enough ability to operate at this level. He's been operating at a higher level for a long, long time. He'd have been sought after. There's plenty of clubs in like the northwest area that could have gone and made a play for him, and I don't think he'd have even considered making the journey down to have a conversation like at the quarters or at the Mem or wherever he's gone to, unless it was Joey he was speaking to.
Yeah, it's pretty mad. Obviously not over the line yet, but if he does sign, then I'm sure we'll get more into it. Try and get I know quite a few Sunderland fans, Wigan fans. Even if everyone else, like I said, we got Mitch, Wayne Clark, Joey's Cap, Gordo 2.0, even into you, even into Chris Dyte as well, taking Jevani, Brown's off-field dramas out of it. Top signings. Yeah. Chris Dyte saying Barton not messing about either. Matt saying I think we need a new number one and maybe another centre back. I still think we'll get 5 or 6. I still think we need. I wouldn't be surprised if Barton goes and gets another wing back. Obviously, if we get the centre mid, then that's great. I think we'll still get another striker because Jevani Brown mainly plays as a cam, although he can be used as a versatile player. I still think we'll get another striker, and I still think we might see some players leave. I don't think we're going to sign all these players, and every single player will stay. Obviously, it's good that we're getting quality. Obviously, we brought in Thomas, Wilson, and Jevani Brown so far, but I still think at least another 5 or 6. What do you make on that, Neil? How many think? Obviously, we were talking about it the other day. By the way, if you haven't already, you can go and check out that the other day, the stream we did. I've got all the timestamps in there as well, so you don't have to watch. You can see little bits of it. But we talked about various players' positions, but now we've announced these 3 players within the last few days. What do you make of, the sort of squad and how it's looking and how many players you think will still sign?
I think you're light on 5 or 6. I'd be surprised if it's not 7, 8, even creeping into 9, to be honest. If you look at what we've got at the minute, you're probably looking at a squad of senior pros. You're looking at 18 maybe at the minute. You're going to want to bolster that by probably another close to 10. So he's still got plenty of work to do. You know, I mean, we can get giddy about free signers, but it's tip of the iceberg for what we really need and what he'll continue to do. And it won't get all finished by the time we kick the season off. It will go right to the end of August.
Yeah, definitely. Like we said about the other day, when people, if comes to Portsmouth and people will be like, oh, if we lose or something, they'll be like, oh, these signings are, there's hardly any. But like you said, it was all the way through August. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Even into Jake as well. George Ficknell saying like that we're getting our business done so early, big season ahead. Yeah, with the two eyes in there. Yeah, definitely. And like we've seen all the interviews so far. It's not just fans that want to go up. Obviously, we know that Barton's come out. We know that Wells come out. Everyone is in it together that we're wanting to get out because Barton mentioned numerous times last season, and I even said I was after the last game of the season, I was on the radio with Keith Brutman saying that I think we need to, and people were saying that anyway. You can always have, you can always be confident, but when the players, when you just sign a centre back that just won the league, you signed Jevani Brown, who's up there with one of the best attacking players in the league, and Luke Thomas as well, who has still got the potential. Even obviously, we'll give our thoughts. Pretty much our thoughts anyway, but we'll still talk about it. And all these players and the players that we're getting linked with. If we get Max Power, that's a hell of a signing in the midfield on a free transfer. Jake said needs 6 to 7 on top of what we signed so far, in my opinion. Jermaine _16, thanks for tuning in. We need another tricky winger. I agree. Gordo saying I can see Lofty going out on loan. You never know, but it all depends, I think. It all depends. If Joey thinks we can get someone better, then fair enough. But like I said the other day, I still think he can give us a lot, Lofty. Alfie May up top says Joe Morgan's gaming. Yeah, that would be quality, of course. He's been heavily linked with Charlton, Gillingham as well, because he's from the Kent area. But yeah, Alfie May up top would be madness, really. Again, I think it would he be on a free? I can't remember if he was out of contract or not, maybe. But like you said, we still haven't signed anyone for money yet, so who knows? Who do you think Rovers will sign as well? Yeah, Max Power, maybe. There's loads of names. They would have started it from last season. We've seen the players so far. We want quality and quantity as well, and so far it's looking good. Yeah, UTG saying would be good. Evening to Nat as well. All the best for the season. Good evening, Charlie and chat. Good evening to you. Now, I think Connolly will stay. There's no point loaning him out. We paid money for him. There would be no point in loaning him out. Remember, for him and a lot of other players, it was still their first season, so they're going to get better with experience and time, etc. And hopefully, the likes of Wilson will help the experience of, especially him being a centre back. Ideally, the club need a majority done by August. Yeah, to be fair, I think we will. We've done 3 signings in 3 or 4 days. So yeah, I think we will. Obviously, there will be some lateness in the window. Sometimes you do get the best players like right at the last minute, like with Anderson, etc. I know that was January, but sort of still the same thing. You can get good players late on. George Ficknell saying I'd love to get Bogard back on loan for another season. And yeah, appreciate everyone's comments. But yeah, what's your thoughts, Neil? Would go with, obviously we talked about it the other day, but now he's over the line. Of course, the first signing was James Wilson. We were linked with him for about a week and a half before we did sign him. But what do you make of him coming on a free, signing a 2-year deal at the Gas?
Yeah, said the other day, I like it. Makes sense. Got all the characteristics of what you want in a player and a specialist centre half that's been there, done it. One of the things he's won. He's going to be good to be around the place. Good for the change room. He's just going to enhance everything again, really. And like you said, what we were crying out for ever since losing someone like Connor Taylor was someone who can go and attack a first ball. And I think we'll probably have that in Wilson, to be honest. And he's someone who can it helps someone like Beefy. I know someone talks about going out on loan, etc. But someone like Beefy, he's always looked to someone to play alongside rather than lead that back line. And Wilson will lead a back line all day long.
Yeah, definitely. It just makes sense in it. I was worrying a bit because it just went a bit quiet. But yeah, now he's over the line. It's a quality signing. But Gordo saying Jamal Blackman. It's interesting. I'm pretty sure of the thing that happened with Jevani Brown. Jamal Blackman was out with Jevani Brown at the time of what happened, the situation. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if we do get a new keeper. Possibly, we'll have to see. Depends what Barton thinks and the recruitment team thinks. Luke Amos is out of contract. Yeah, could. I think he's an ex-Tottenham player at QPR, wasn't he? Yeah, possibly. But I think he's a bit injury prone. So I even though he's still young, I think we sort of need to hopefully try and focus. I know Barton is the sort of manager like with Grant Ward. He's got the quality, but if he can stay fit, then he's a great player. Will Green saying one of Gibson or Taylor. Yeah, be interesting to see what happens with that. Yeah, and of course Maka as well, and plenty of midfielders, coming in. It's going to be interesting with Maka. You got Josh Grant play there, Finley, Rossiter. If we sign another midfielder, which we're probably looking at, Max Power linked as well, and Evans. Don't forget this, especially going forward now. You got Loft, Marquis, Collins, Sinclair, Luke Thomas, Jevani Brown. Like the quality's there, even into Yambi Sims as well. Good signing so far for promoted. One played in the playoff final, the other would have topped the charts if played all season. Yeah, and we're getting to that as well. The fact that obviously loads of things going on, loads of course fans. It's all about opinions. But yeah, we'll get on to Jevani Brown and Luke Thomas soon as well. I think this is Jake who's coming on as well. Looking forward to discussing Wilson as later as well. I think that's going to be his new channel name. If I'm not, he's a Lincoln fan. He's Sound Kiddie. He'll be coming on in a bit to discuss Wilson's time at Lincoln, where he won the league in League Two. Looking forward to speaking about him. And also, I'll get your thoughts on Lincoln because obviously they're a bit of a bogey side for us last season, losing twice, conceding 7. Done the treble over the Bristol teams. Obviously, you beat City in the cup as well. So predictions where the gas will finish. At the moment, I'll say 6th. I said that as well on the radio when I got asked. What's your thoughts now? Of course, we've only signed 3 players, but obviously the club, the fan base are obviously going to be expecting a lot now. So what, looking now and possibly what other players we could sign, what are you saying with predictions?
I still look at that league and just think there's just massive sides in that division. There's huge sides in that division. Like what we're signing is great for us. It's great for us, but like there's some massive hitters in that side. And I said to you on the last time we spoke, every single side, not every single side, but the majority of sides that you look at are just going to be better. They will just be better than what they were last year. So we've got to be even more improved than what we want to be.
And obviously keep consistent. That's the problem with us, innit? Consistency.
There's loads of stuff we've got to work on. Like I said, we sort of sold our soul in January of deciding what we're going to do. We're going to stick or twist. It was the right thing to do as far as I'm concerned. We coasted to a finish of safety. Fine, no problem. But I'd say 9th, something like that. I just think there's a lot of work. If we get, like, obviously, I'd love it if we could get in there, but that's a hell of a push to.
Yeah.
Some of the sides in our league are ridiculous.
Yeah.
As far as facilities, resources, finance, like we've got it all to do. If we could do it, then brilliant. But
yeah,
as a realist and someone who's played a 40-game season in the league, it's not easy, mate. It is not easy.
Yeah, it definitely won't be easy. Obviously, as the season, we get closer, we'll do like a whole sort of League One preview sort of show. We get some fans on and we'll do our normal predictions, and then we can come back hopefully in sort of like 9 months time and be like, oh yeah, was a good season. And yeah, we talked about that the other day. Why not? Why not in it? I can't see why not. He's still on the transfer list. I know he's back in there for pre-season, but why not? He loves the gas. I know there's going to be championship clubs. People watching this now thinking, what are these two on about? Because we both said it. I said it the other day. I said, why not? Why not going for a transfer listed ex-Rovers player who's done absolute bits, and he's one of, obviously there's quite a few good strikers that have played in League One in the past, but you look at his record in League One, Clark Harris, why not? We haven't spent any money yet. It depending on what budget we got, go and get him. Go and get him. If we really want to do it, go and get him. But yeah, it is probably a long shot, but we'll see. It would just be nice as it would be amazing if we could get him. Joey's cap saying would have liked to see Danny Andrews from Fleetwood. And what is that, the left back? Yeah, I've always rated him. I think I wanted him a couple of years ago. I think, what is he, 31, 32 now? Maybe even 33, but a few years ago I'd have took him. He was quality. Hell of a left foot on him. Even into Jason MH as well. Not sure. What was that comment? Not sure your thought on this, and I wouldn't have him back. But if Balcombe was to come back, what do you think? I'd only want him to come back as a backup. If he's available on a free, I don't want him. Even though he didn't do as bad as some. I was at Morecambe here, Neil, or at Morecambe. We've seen that it was one of the most toxic things I've seen in a long time, when 80% of the fans at Morecambe were going absolutely berserk, singing Belshaw, and it happened at the home game as well. But on a free, I would have him as a backup, but I wouldn't have him as a starter. What about you, Neil? Would you have him as a backup if we could get him on a free? Balcombe?
No chance. Not because I don't rate him or I don't think he's any good. I just think if you're advising that kid, he is a baby and he is going to be able to go and get first team football somewhere. Why would he go and sit on the bench for anyone? Like, you're not going to learn anything. Like the same with Ward. Like, I wouldn't have him on our bench either. Let him go and get games. Like, him sat watching Belly make saves is not going to improve him one bit. He needs to train with us. He needs to get like all his grounding and his fundamentals in place and go and hone that on a Saturday elsewhere and go and get experience. Balcombe's plenty good enough to play first team football. So if I'm advising him or I'm his club, I'm not going to go and let you go and sit on a bench somewhere. Go and get games. So I wouldn't. If someone says to me, "Oh yeah, you can take him, but he's a backup," I'd be like, "No, it's all right. I'll go and find him somewhere else to go and play games."
Yeah.
The one I like is the Killip one. I like the Killip deal. If you can get the Killip one done,
Hartlepool keeper. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, we'll see. Keep hitting the like button there if you haven't already. Do subscribe, and we're going to bring on Jake as well. Lincoln fan. He's going to come on and chat a little bit about James Wilson. Of course, won the league. Won the league with Lincoln, and here he is. Then, and also quickly tell people about you're obviously going to be setting up your new channel. Obviously, people know Nappers. A lot of people from my channel obviously watch Nappers as well, and have probably seen you before on Cod Vlogs, his channel, and he's always on a lot of people's channels. He knows his stuff, Jake. But yeah, tell us quickly about your new sort of adventure in YouTube.
Yeah, cheers, Charlie. Evening to both of you and to everybody watching. Yeah, I'm Jake. You might recognise me, as Charlie says, from Nappers, or I've done a lot with Jack Ward, the football podcast, and Tom from 4-0 as well. Done loads of collabs, so I thought, why not make a go of it myself? So this is actually this is the first time I've actually said this publicly. Channel 72 is what I've called it. Going to be launching on the 24th of July, so come over and have a look. It's going to be general EFL content, but I've got some really good ideas. Got a week off work next week to start filming and planning everything. But yeah, really looking forward to it. And yeah, to be fair, I've been looking forward to talking about James Wilson since I saw it was linked with a move to Rovers. He's one of those ex-players that won the league with Lincoln. You always like to keep an eye out on players that have done well for you. So. Yeah, I think it's a decent sign for the Gas.
Yeah. Hopefully, obviously, it will be. I'm sure he will be. But yeah, make sure even now you can go over to Jake's channel. It will be up. Go and subscribe to him. I know how hard it is from starting a channel. So yeah, go over and support him. Like you said, all League One content. But just before we get on to Wilson, what's your thoughts on Lincoln's transfers so far? Because I think it's going to be an interesting one because you've done really well last season, finished strongly, took a lot of points off a lot of good teams, including Rovers, even though you battered us. You obviously had the battering. And yeah, you sent me that thing with, obviously you've done the treble, beat City and beat us twice. What's your thoughts on your recruitment so far? And what's your thoughts coming up to the new season?
Yeah, I can walk you through our recruitment so far. We've signed 3 players. So we signed, first through the door was Alistair Smith, who was at Sutton United. You guys might remember him from the year you got promoted out of League Two. Really combative, box-to-box midfielder. He's a really lanky player as well. I think he's scored maybe 14 goals over 2 years from the middle of midfield, which is really interesting. Obviously, we lost Matty Virtue, who scored at both Ashton Gate and at the Mem last season. We weren't able to get him back from Blackpool. They've decided to keep him on, so we needed someone to come and sit next to Errihan in midfield. Ethan Errihan, by the way, is the player that Joey Barton called out on the radio after we beat you 1-0. 21 years old and living in your gaffer's head, which was good. But that was the first one through the door. And the second one was Rico Hackett, who you probably know a little bit more of. He's been at Pompey, had a couple of years at Portsmouth, never really found a settled position, but signed for us on a 3-year deal. He's just gone away with St. Lucia, I think it is, in the Gold Cup in America, and scored his first goal for his country, which is a big deal. And then last week, I want to say it was, we signed Lucas Jensen on a free, who's been released from Burnley. He was at Accrington last year. Signing a goalkeeper from a team that got relegated and conceded 80 goals might not be a good thing. But he made a lot of good saves and was targeted by a lot of teams in our division. And for us to have a permanent goalkeeper this year, and you'll know, having like the likes of Belshaw and having loan keepers before, yes, you get really good loan goalkeepers. We had Carl Rushworth last year, and we've had Josh Griffiths, but both of those England under 21s.
Yeah,
but
brilliant.
To have a settled goalkeeper, he's only 20, I think he's 22, 23, on a permanent contract. He's going to do us a world of good. So, really liking our recruitment so far. I mean, there's still a lot of work to do. Mark Kennedy's still got some big holes to fill. Regan Poole left. He's leaving in 5 days. That's a massive player to replace. So, looking forward to seeing what we've got. Obviously, us and Gas will get linked with a similar sort of player because if you think about it, we're similar clubs. We finished in the not too dissimilar part of the table, though. We finished 6 places above you. There wasn't many points in it, and when we played you, I think you were above us in the table. So it can be interesting because I know you made a video about Tyler Walker. Tyler Walker is someone that I would love Lincoln to sign, and I'm sure you'd love Gas to sign him, but you signed Jevani Brown. So yeah, really, really looking forward to seeing how we get on this year, because League One, as you probably said several times, Charlie, is incredibly weak this year. We've got rid of 3 really good sides. The sides coming down aren't remarkable. The sides coming up are not as good as what they were last year. So yeah, I think there's an opportunity, which is why I really like your optimism for saying that Gas is going to finish 6th, because there is that opportunity for a team that finish in mid-table, like us, like you, like Shrewsbury, Exeter, to go and make that position their own. And I think you've got as good a chance as any, especially with the signing you made this afternoon.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one. But yeah, obviously, I'm like, if you ask any Rovers fan, I'm always the optimistic one. Because we done the stream the other day, and I was saying it does look weaker, but then Neil made a good point. Even teams like Burton, they were signing like Stockton, who you were after, and I think you wanted to sign, and I think they signed that Gordon as well, the striker from Barrow, on a free. So even though saying that it might look weak on paper, but then even then, some of those signings that other teams have made, and even Derby, I think they've strengthened well. Bolton will go on and spend a bit of money. They're meant to be getting the Kane Wilson. I don't even know if that's done. But yeah, I like your signings. I think Smith's a good one, young player, tall. We struggled a lot against sort of physical midfields. If you look the teams we lost to last season,
I know.
Probably, yeah. But it's true though. I think in the end we lost 21 games, which is poor. But a lot of the teams were like physical who we lost to, like Accrington, you twice, Morecambe, although they're not as physical as some teams, but that was just a disaster, the away game. Let's forget that. But yeah, to be fair, yeah, I think your signings are good. I like that Jensen. I think he's the son of Brian Jensen, the Burnley keeper as well, isn't he? And obviously you got that Jensen from Burnley. So yeah, I like the ones in Tyler Walker. We've been linked with him for like the last 3 or 4 years, but I still think we'll get a striker. I think Barton's going to go all out and try and get as much strength and depth. Because Jevani Brown, even though he can play as a striker, a winger, a centre forward, he's mainly as a cam. So, but yeah, we've got a lot of attackers like we mentioned Sinclair, Collins, Loft, Marquis, Luke Thomas, Jevani Brown. There's a lot of quality. So yeah, it's looking good so far. But obviously we're just getting giddy. It is what it is. Obviously loads of people. Still in the comments. Gas are going up. Do you think the new 3 players are starters? We will get onto that once Jake said about Wilson. We'll get onto if they're. But yeah, well, I think so. Yeah, I think all of them will start personally. But yeah, what's your thoughts on Wilson? Because I think he was with you for a year, and I think I can remember he wasn't. I don't think he was a player that started every single game for you as well. Because obviously I think you had. I think it was Jason Shackle, wasn't it, that season? And he was a monster, like what an old player at the time. But yeah, what was your thoughts on him? He was only there for a year, scored a couple of goals, obviously in a very, very good Lincoln side. What did you make of his time at Lincoln, and what sort of player was he for you?
I mean, he's very decorated. He won 2 trophies at Lincoln. He came in January 20, I want to say it was 2018. Or 2017, 2018 it was, when we won the Checker Trade. Ironically, he actually scored with his first touch. Being a Lincoln player, we were playing Barnet away from home. I remember I was there. We were 1-0 down to a John Akinde goal, who obviously signed for Lincoln a year later. Through Danny Cowdy, through Wilson on at half time. We just signed him from Sheffield United. I think he'd been on loan at Walsall the half season before in League One, but we bought him from Sheffield United and came on about 3 minutes later. He chucked his head on the end of a corner, and I'm sure if you've been to Barnet, that stand behind the goal now is really steep, and there was lots of carnage, and it was awful because you have to get back up, and it's really steep. So he made a good start, but like you say, he struggled to really nail a spot in the Lincoln City team. And the summer after, obviously, had that 6 months adjustment period where, when you sign a player in January, are they really brought in to make an impact in that 6 months, or are they here to make an impact in the years to come? And I think Wilson was probably going to be one of those. But then we signed Jason Shackle, and we had a back two of Michael Boswick and Jason Shackle, which
2 units.
2 absolute units who were probably the best centre. Well, they were, because we won the title. We romped League 2 when we won it. They were by far the best 2 defenders that we had. Obviously, we also had Scott Wharton, who's now at Blackburn Rovers as well. So we fell behind the pecking order behind him. And Danny Cowdy really liked having a left-footed centre-back who was all about balance. I'm sure you guys you'll notice that when you're playing with a left-sided centre-back, you have a lot more balance, which is why actually I think you might do well to sign someone like Joe Walsh, who's just been released by us. It'd be a really good pickup for Rovers as well. But I mean, he never really got in the team from then. So we let him go. I think he went to Ipswich after Lincoln. When I saw that, my eyebrows rose a little bit. I was thinking, what do Ipswich see that we don't? But obviously, he went to Ipswich and did really well for them over a couple of years, and then joined Plymouth and has become out a league winner. I think it's the second time he's won League One. He won it with Sheffield United. He's won it with Plymouth Argyle now. So you're signing a guaranteed winner at this level. got a lot of experience. He's not the quickest centre half, so from what I can remember, Rovers deployed a back three last year. Maybe Wilson plays as the middle centre back. I remember he had a lad on loan from, I want to say he had a lad on loan from Liverpool.
Quansah. Yeah, Quansah.
I thought he was decent when it went. I mean, he should have been sent off at centre back, but I thought he was decent. If you can find a player that's ball playing, stick him on the right hand side. I know you've got Luca Hall that can play there as well, but if you have Wilson as that middle defender, he's just going to head and kick everything away. He's not the quickest. He won't, he's not the best with the ball at his feet, but a defender's job is to kick the ball away. And you guys conceded a bucket load of goals last year, and he is no doubt going to help you in keeping more clean sheets. Because you look at Bristol Rovers last year, you think scored a load of goals, created a load of chances. I mean, the game at your place, Charlie, it was 6-3, but no one would have been surprised if it ended like 10-10. Because you were that good going forward, but you were also that bad going back. So I think Willow's going to do a real good job at Gas. If he's on a 2-year contract, obviously he's got the security, he can bring his family up or whatever he wants. So yeah, really good player, and I'm sure you're going to get the best out of him.
Yeah, it's going to be. It was interesting because I think the season after he left you, he went and won the Player of the Year at Ipswich. Yeah. So it's mad, really. And then, like you said, he was there for a couple of years. Was in an Argyle team that I got, I think, combined 192 points in the 2 years that Wilson was there. And it was interesting because he at Plymouth, they didn't have the quickest of centre backs, but he actually played right of a back three mainly, which is an interesting one because, like you said, of his age and stuff. But yeah, me personally, I would love Gibson back. He was a left-footed centre back. I agree with the balance when Gibson was injured for a bit last season, and we sort of played two right-footed centre backs. It just, like you said, the balance wasn't there. But I think if we can get Gibson back, I don't know if he will because Everton offered him a new deal. But he's not going to play in the Premier League, let's be honest. He's a quality player, but he could easily go Championship. I think it depends. But, to be honest, it's going to be obviously definitely going to be interesting when we play you. Hopefully Wilson can grab a few goals at, do the cups and, go. But now...
Marquis I'm worried about, Charlie.
Marquis,
He was really good for us for 6 months, and then we decided to release him because he cost an arm and a leg, and then ended up at Gas. And I think he's done okay by the sounds of it. I think he scored a couple of goals. But you'll notice with Marquis, and we noticed it within 6 months, it's pretty obvious that he puts more wide than he puts in the net. And you're fortunate that you've got the likes of Collins to make up for it. So just as a question, as a neutral, I'm just really intrigued. I'm sorry if I've sort of taken the lead in. But, Collins is a really interesting one. Now, he obviously got the Player of the Year in League One. Are you going to keep him? Because I know there's going to be significant interest from the league above. Do you rate your... Because surely you'd be happy to part ways with him if you got, 3.5 million quid for him, and then you could go and reinvest that money, surely.
I mean, it depends. I'll let Neil answer that. Would you rather keep him, Neil, or would you rather get money for him and go and get other players?
No, I think Jake's right. I think everyone's got a price, haven't they? At the end of the day, and I think if there's a deal to be done, then you've got to sit and consider it. But the problem you've got with Collins is the sharks that are obviously circling to going to get him is going to be late August. It's going to come late in the day, and people are going to try and force your hand with a deal like 3.5 million, which I don't think touches the side for Aaron Collins, to be honest. Like we spoke about before, if you're going to put him on the sort of same par at the time of what sort of Scott Twine was doing, that's gone for plus 5.5, there's the sort of benchmark you're looking at for Aaron Collins. So if Rovers aren't in a position to shift him, then I'm all for it. I'm all for selling Collins if that money goes towards making Bristol Rovers better. Mm-hmm. However, you've got to put your business hat on here and understand whether a quick buck makes sense or you've got a long-term plan of what you do with that money. Because unfortunately, we have got Azza at the not unfortunately, but we've got Azza at the minute. But like I said, it's going to come late in August when all the heat comes.
Yeah, that's what I said as well. I said if he's going to go, because there's been nothing at all. I seen that Punk Chef Jake. He done a video of him, and I was like, I haven't seen anything. So whatever so far. But yeah, I agree. I think if he was to go, it'd be late, because it always is for Rovers, whether it's late January, late August. Clark Harris, when we had him, went late, had a year left. I think he went for 1.25. Collins has still got 2 years left on his deal. But for me, we have to do everything to keep him, because there's no point getting all these players. And for how good, I know we obviously dried up after January when, it all went, sort of, mad with Rovers when we were outside the playoffs in early January to finish in 17th. And obviously Collins' form dried up. So did, us as a team. But yeah, if he was to go, it'd be late August, I think.
Because I think the caveat would be that what if he only scores 10 goals this year? You've then got a striker with 1 year left on his deal who's not been scored, not coming off the back of such a successful year, and you're not going to be able to get the millions and millions of pounds that you were expecting to get from him. It's a game where a club like the size of us, you've got to weigh it up, because 3, 4, 5 million quid for the future of Bristol Rovers could set you guys up for, it could run you guys for probably 2 years, or you could build infrastructure like we did with a training ground after our cup run. So you've got to really weigh it up, because your scout should really be looking for the next Aaron Collins, shouldn't they? And you should be able to then have a conveyor belt of players that are going to make you money. That, I suppose, that's how football clubs become sustainable. I'm sure that's what you'll want to do in League One.
Yes, it's going to be interesting. I mean, someone just said, Jerry Brain in the comments said 7 million at the minimum. Ash Jenkins, we have to keep players like Collins and build a team around him. Yeah, but like you said,
Ivan Toney went for 7 million, and I really like Aaron Collins, but Aaron Collins is not quite Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney, when he made the step up, scored what? Did he score 35 goals? I can see Aaron Collins stepping up to the Championship if it's to be next year and scoring 10, 12 comfortably. But I don't think he's quite Ivan Toney. So I would maybe say, I think maybe a fee similar to perhaps Scott Twine, maybe between 4.5 and 5, I think would be a fair fee, maybe.
Yeah. I think it all. I hope, of course, if I think he would be a little bit more happy at the moment to see that we've gone and got Wilson, Brown as well, that we're actually going for it, because they've all said in their interviews, I want to. Joey wants to get to the Championship. He said that to us many a time. Said it on the radio many a times. And obviously fans want it as well. Obviously, you might laugh, but next year we could be talking about, Rovers in the Championship. But all joking aside, I think what might put teams off is obviously his second half of the season, where he only got 3 goals. So hopefully that. But even then, if someone comes in for him, what can you do? We'll have to see what happens. Hopefully, he can stay and be a part of a really good season for us next year. But it is what it is. It is what it is. If he goes, he goes. Obviously, I love Collins. Obviously, all Rovers fans love him. He's been quality since we got him on a free from Forest Green. I think he's got 34 goals in 2 years for us. And half of that time he's played on the wing. So, we'll have to see. But yeah, we're going to move on. But I want to say thanks. Obviously, thanks for you to accepting the offer to come on the channel as well. Obviously, like I said, people, he's going to be having the new channel. So go and subscribe now to Jake's channel. He's a great lad, knows what he talks about, loves a bit of banner. Obviously, I'm sure he'll be back on the channel when we do play Lincoln, and hopefully we can not get humiliated like we did at the Mem. But thanks for coming on, Jake. Appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you very much for having me. Have a good rest of your show.
Cheers, Jake. In a bit.
Cheers, guys.
There you go. That's what. Obviously, I was going to get some Ipswich and Plymouth fans on as well, and but obviously he was better there. But because it was tough, that Lincoln team, I think, yeah, like you said, Cowley, he had proper, like, two at the back with that balance as well. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, he was on about Marcus. So yeah, hopefully Marcus can go and can show Lincoln why they should have offered him a deal. But yeah, I think comments have been popping off mad. I appreciate everyone that's coming in. Keep hitting the like button if you haven't already. Obviously, like I said, this is getting streamed on Facebook as well. So from future now, it will be streamed on Facebook, etc. So if you are on Facebook currently watching it now, then come over and subscribe. Appreciate you doing it. Yeah, Steve Watson saying hi. Just popped in to say Wilson is a great signing. Has for Brownie is he's better earning a wage than benefits. We all mess up. Hopefully he will turn a new leaf. Yeah, absolutely. Big up to Joe. I'm back. Good to see you in here. I'm going to quickly get your thoughts, Neil. We go over obviously the Thomas and the Jevani Brown, and then for the sort of the last 10 minutes, I will put the link in chat. So if anyone wants to quickly come on and give their ratings or whatever, we'll do that. So yeah, hit the like button if you haven't already. Keep hitting subscribe if you are new and you've only just come to the channel. Then do subscribe. It would be appreciated on the road to 6.5K. Obviously, our socials are down in the comments and on screen, so feel free to follow the socials. But yeah, Neil, obviously we talked about it the other day about Luke Thomas. Could he be signing? But he has finally signed free transfer, 3-year deal. Barton come out and said he really likes the potential and likes Luke Thomas as a player. We know what his stats were. We know he sort of struggled. He sort of struggled with Rovers in sort of the first, I'd probably say 25, 30 games. And then he shown what he can do at the back end of the season where he looked a lot more like he had a bit of confidence. Like we talked about, even Barton called him out a lot of times about his weight, about whatever. I remember Salford won it. He come out and said after the game, what do you make of it? Especially that it's on a free, that we didn't have to pay a free and it's on a 3-year deal. And what do you make of Barton's comments?
It's low risk, isn't it? As far as I'm concerned, as far as the signing goes, it's low risk. You've not paid no money for him. Joey knows who he is and what he's about. He's had to deal with him. He's high maintenance, or he was high maintenance. So there's obviously been a discussion to get that deal done because Luke Thomas obviously wants to be closer to home. He obviously liked his time at Rovers. He just flat to deceive when he was here. And unfortunately for us, when we had him, he was brought in as our marquee boy to go and like do the business and be that guy at the top end of the pitch for us. Everyone got giddy over a daft penalty against Oxford in pre-season and thought he was going to be a superstar. But if you suffer from a niggle and an injury and things don't go right for you, it's just one of them things, and you can take it. But for Luke Thomas, when he was here last, he was just unprofessional, and that's what pissed me off. He was unprofessional, and he didn't do his job properly ultimately. And Joey gave him a bit of tough love and give him stick publicly. And to be honest, he probably tried every method. He probably tried to put his arm around him at some point in the season, tried to be nice and all the rest of it and nurture him. But sometimes he probably thinks right now to kick up the arse now and just see how he reacted. And they must have an okay relationship because he wants to come back and work with him. He's happy to work with him. I mean, Joey's talking about potential. He's 24. He ain't got long to show what he can do. But if he thinks he can get a tune out of him, then all the better. Like I said, it's low risk. It's a low risk signing. I'd love him to come and do well, and I'd love us to get the Coventry side of Luke Thomas when he was there, really, attacking the line, getting in behind, being direct and aggressive. But the Luke Thomas we had, if we get him again, then my opinion will be the same. I just think it's all a bit meh, and he won't deliver for you. But hopefully he can get a solid pre-season under him, listen to what Joey tells him, be professional, and hopefully we see a different side to him.
Yeah. Like you said, it is a sort of a low risk because, like you said, it is on a free. Like I say, he's still young in the fact that he's 24. Like you said, he's still got a bit of time. And to be fair, we talked about it the other day on the last stream. Don't forget to check that out if you haven't already. it's a bit more in-depth stuff on transfers, etc. But yeah, we talked about it the other day, and like you said, I think everyone agrees with what we've said, about he was brought on as the marquee signing, didn't live up to it, but he did finish the season really well. And like you said, I think he sort of likes the fact that Barton give him a bit of tough love and sort of, kicked him up the ass, because he did change in the second bit of the season. And I know he suffered personal life with his mental health and stuff, which obviously isn't good, but hopefully he's out of that now. He's come back on a full-time basis, especially that he lives local. And yeah, hopefully we can see that sort of, like I said in my video when we signed him, that driving. That's what I loved about him at Coventry, the way he drived and took players on. And I'm really happy with it, to be honest. He is an exciting player. And yeah, hopefully he can do really well. And he's, again, another versatile player. And it's good that I like the fact that we're signing all these players with the sort of quality, and because that's what we want it. You want it to be, if someone plays poorly, you've got Brown, Thomas, both can. Well, Thomas can play on the wing and he can play just behind the striker as well. He's got that eye for a pass. He got the creativity, can score. But yeah, fingers crossed he can do well. I think, we can see about that. And obviously Jevani Brown, the signing, of course, we made today. I got over 250 appearances, 21 goals and 21 assists in the last 2 years at Exeter. Of course, everyone knows the background of it. I even tweeted out and said, I feel a bit dodgy with it. But now, obviously, you would do if he's done that. But now he's our player. I know, of course, it's caused loads of mayhem with everything, obviously, with all the women in the fan base, young girls, etc. Her game too, everything going mad, other opposition fans saying stuff, which there will be. But as a player, and I will support him like any other Rovers player. I know he's done a thing, but we don't know the whole story about it. Just to be devil's advocate, we don't know the whole story. We don't know if, anything could have happened. Obviously, we know he's sort of, the trial is sort of live sort of thing, but now he's a Rovers player. I'm buzzing with it. Like I said on my video, I'm buzzing with it. He's an absolute baller. Can play anywhere along the front line, mainly used as a cam. Done bits against us in the past. Experience, quality. Can easily play at a higher level. And I'm sure there was other clubs looking to get his signature. But what do you make of it as a signing on I think it's a 2-year deal with an option of a further year. What do you make of it on a free as well? I'm buzzing. Obviously, we know there's comes with it, but on the pitch, I'm buzzing with that. Unbelievable signing.
Yeah, really like it, to be honest. We talked the other day about Rovers, what they've got at the attacking end of the pitch, and me saying that you're going to look to have 4 really at that top end of the pitch. You've got 3 at the minute. And what you're going to need is something a bit different from what we've got. Like I said, you want something in between sort of Marquis and Loft as far as their attributes. And I think with Brown, you've got that, technically really gifted, lovely and tidy on the ball, can play with his back to goal. He's a strong boy. He knows where the net is. What we have got is a guaranteed penalty taker, because he can take penalties just fine. You ain't got to worry about Scott Sinclair spewing them or, the odd one getting missed. If he steps up and takes one, I'm more than confident that he'll put it away. He's a versatile. He ticks so many boxes for the way Rovers are looking to recruit at the minute. He can play anywhere across that front line. I mean, I know you talked about him playing in that pocket. I like him straight through the middle, to be honest. I think he's really dangerous right down the middle. Like I said, he can do most things. You don't mind giving a centre half a bit of shit. He'll get his body stuck into stuff. He's good with his back to goal. He's nice and tidy. Looks after the ball. He knows where the goal is. And you've got someone who's 28. He's physically at his peak. He's, as far as his body, he's going to be physically at his peak now in the next 2 years, from 28 to 30. And you've got him for nothing. I think it's brilliant business.
Yeah, on a free as well. Yeah, you can't really moan about it. You know, the like you said, he's got everything going forward. Can keep possession, technically gifted on the ball, creativity. Yeah, I wanted him before when he was at Exeter, and I'm thinking, Jesus, like I think even though he's done well in the past, I think he got 14 in 45 at Colchester, at Cambridge. He was there for a few years, but yeah, I think he really found a home at Exeter, and the fact that he just got given the license to go forward and express on the pitch, finishing everything. There's all different types of goals, like you said. He's a penalty taker, probably can take a free kick. There's everything really, and like I said, that's what I'm loving about the signings and the fact that Joey's come out and said it last season a lot. We want people fighting for places. That's how you get better. That's how you progress. That's how you make each other. You get told that from a even younger when you're playing. The more quality you've got around you, the more you're on your toes and you have to fight for your position. And yeah, buzzing with it. I will get the link now in the chat. If anyone wants to come on, spend not obviously about a minute because we don't really want to. It's coming up to the 56-minute mark, probably about 10 more minutes. So, yeah, try and get a bit of light in. Don't come in like or if you want, you can like sort of come on. Sort of if you don't, yeah, you can come on and just say. But I've just put the link in chat. If anyone wants to come on, click the link. Make sure your audio is good. And yeah, you can come on and quickly give your thoughts if you want. I'll drag you in from the touchline and yeah, you can come on if you want to quickly. But yeah, I think yeah, we've got our first person coming in, and it is the famous Barber. You all will know him. Evening, Jake.
Hello, you alright? Alright. Yeah, it's been a bit of a whirlwind.
Yeah, definitely. What's your thoughts on the signing so far? You confident or are you happy?
Yeah, very happy. Yeah, they're all positive signings. They're definitely good to add to squad depth, as well as starters as well. They've all been positive signings. So obviously there's baggage around a certain signing today, but I have confidence that'll be sorted, in due course. So yeah, plenty of positives.
What's your thoughts on Wilson? Are you happy with that? Obviously the experience that we've been wanting. I think 90% of the fan base want an experienced player. What do you make of him signing on a free?
Yeah, delighted. He's certainly a player I think Rovers need, that kind of mould of an experienced defender. I think people get caught up when people say experience, like an older defender, which he is. But I know he's had a pretty good time in the last few years in terms of injuries. He's not really been injured, but if Rovers kind of just keep him to the league games more so, and FA Cup games, not the pizza games, but yeah, as long as he can stay fit and healthy, and just having a presence like that in the dressing room, nearly 400 appearances in his career. And he's I know he's from Newport, but he's from this neck of the woods, so he kind of a bit more familiar with the surroundings. So yeah, no, plenty of positives on there, enough to complain about that one.
What's your thoughts on Luke Thomas? Are you sort of the same as what Neil's saying, that the fact that he's obviously not done what we expected him the first time? Are you confident this time on a free as well without spending any money? Of course, apart from wages and a signing on fee. Are you confident we can see a good Luke Thomas?
Maybe so. I mean, he had the leg break last year, or I think it was an ankle leg break last year, so not sure how that's affected this game. I did see Barnes in the playoffs. I did go up there for the second semi-final and all that, and he made a cameo, and he did okay. He didn't sort of stand out or anything, but I think as long as Rovers have a bit of patience with him, but again, as Neil said earlier, it's his professionalism. If he has a funny attitude, then I'm sure we'll know about it, because Barton, doesn't shy away from that. So, which has its pluses and negatives. But yeah, as long as he gets his attitude right, and people people who know Thomas have said he's a good lad. So there must be something there. Whether he's got the wrong people in his ear roll, it's difficult to say. But when he's on his day, I think he could be a good player. Is just if he can keep that consistent at League One level for us.
Yeah, definitely. I've always, like we talked about before, when he was. I remember when he was at Coventry, he was amazing. I remember we've never done well at Coventry away. And like a lot of teams, we've got a bad records here and there. But I remember, seeing him, and then he got. I think he signed for Barnsley for like almost £1 million, mind. And it's sort of not maybe gone his way in different sort of areas and aspects, but I think it can be really good, and hopefully, we can see that on a free permanent. Next one obviously is the one that everyone is obviously it's been going mental. Jevani Brown, what do you make of that?
It's a tough one. I think we've got to go careful in regards to what we do say, because the case is obviously still active. What I will say, and obviously there's been I've been quite opinionated on Twitter in the last couple of days about it. I think Rovers maybe should have waited until after the case had closed. But, I'm no lawyer. I don't think any of us here are lawyers. I don't think so, Neil. I don't know if you are, but
definitely not.
It's a difficult thing to comment on. Maybe Rovers are looking at it and going, when this, because I thought this as well. Most courts don't like to have things hanging over a weekend. So this trial is on a Friday, so they must have a good feeling that this will be done in a day. Rovers are looking at it and going, Rovers probably have a good feeling about the outcome of the court case. That's all I'm going to say. So I think that's probably the reason why Rovers have done it. Now, if they agreed on a gentleman's agreement, shook hands, we'll sign you after, there's no contract, so another team could swoop in and take him. So it is a tough thing. I'm a firm believer of second chances. If he has some sort of punishment for the thing he's pleaded guilty for, I'm not too sure. So it's wrong to speculate, but we'll wait and see. I trust the law will do the right thing, but who knows? But I think the less said about some things on things like this are better. I know it's a cop-out answer, but I just hope the right outcome for everyone is comes out. I know it's difficult. I know a lot of women supporters have come out and said certain things, and it's impossible for us to comment on that because last time I checked, I'm not a lady, so it's impossible for us to put ourselves in their situation. So I don't think we can really say whether they're right or they're wrong with what they feel. I think it's sad that there is this much division going on, and I do feel like this may not be worth a headache. Yes, there is an aspect of where if Brown does well, fans will forget about it, whatever, people have done it with Barton, but there is a section that won't. So I think Rovers got to go careful. It's not a very good PR move, I'll say that, but all being well, hopefully the right outcome will be there for everyone.
Yeah, as long as I don't care, as long as he does, obviously it is hard. Obviously, because there is obviously a lot of female fans, like I said, young girls. I mean, he's got a daughter of his own. But like I said to Neil, you don't know the ins and outs of actually what happened. That's the thing. So we can't really comment loads. But on the pitch, I just hope he does well. And I'm buzzing for it. He is an outstanding player. But I appreciate you coming on, Jake, and hopefully we can get
I appreciate it.
On another
Thank
one.
you. Nice seeing you guys. Have a nice evening. Cheers, guys.
Right. So that was Barbers' thoughts. If anyone else wants to come on quickly, there's the link. But overall, Neil, I think more than happy. What would you give a rating out of us signing so far? I mean, to be honest with you, I was obviously expecting quality, and I think we've got quality. What would you give so far on the out of 10? What would you give?
I don't know. Signed 3 players. They're all deep. They're all decent in their own right. As far as they're not fringe. They're not fringe players. They're not someone you're looking to improve on. As far as an academy or anything like that. But it's early days, isn't it? I don't know, 6, 7, something like that. Don't get too excited just yet.
Yeah. Obviously, that's just me. I'm just always giddy, and I think a lot of fans. But Yeah, let's see what happens. Joe said 7. No worries, Jake. But yeah, if anyone else quickly wants to come on, if not, you can leave your thoughts more. I've obviously done the video after I've done the Wilson video, etc. Go and check them out. But yeah, I think pretty happy so far. Yeah, we're pretty much going to end it here. It's been just over an hour. I want to thank everyone for their support as always. Thanks to Neil again for coming on, of course. Like I said in the last year, I'm still thinking if there's anyone that's good with making a new like a badge, obviously for my channel, then please let me know if anyone is good there, because I'm not the best, and like me and Neil talked about in the last video, there's going to be like a rebranding of the channel. Obviously, channel's not going anywhere, but it's just going to get a rechange in name, just a fresh start, everything like that. Hopefully, the next, like I said, month or two, we can go on, push it out more to Spotify, etc., because I think that's what it needs. Yeah, we can do actually quick lineups. If you're going to do lineups, if the season was starting tomorrow, and we can base it off last season, or if the season started in a week, not tomorrow, but if the season started in a week, it would be 4-2-3-1, Belshaw in goal, Luca Hall right back, Connolly and Wilson centre back, Lewis Gordon left back. In the midfield, it'd probably be Finley and Grant Ward as the two sitting players. Right wing would be Luke Thomas, so he can cut in on his left. Left wing would be Sinclair. And then I'd have Jevani Brown in the hole with Collins up top. That'd be mine. Obviously, it all depends on sort of what formation you like. And, you know, I mean, Neil, what would you do if it was starting with our current team, if it was starting a league game, you know, next week or whatever? What it's on the spot, but what would you do?
I'd probably run with what you've just said, because you're that far, without a million miles away from. Well, if it starts tomorrow, no one's making it past 20 minutes anyway. But without delicate, you've got to be with people like Josh Grant and Macca, etc. Yeah, you're probably not far wrong. Is getting his bodies as fit as they can be out onto the pitch, and yeah, you're probably not far wrong picking that.
Yeah, obviously it's only, but yeah, I'd thought it. Yeah, I thought I'd do it as well. But yeah, like we said, we still got plenty more transfers to get. Like I said, we might even see a few more outgoings as well, because we haven't had any outgoings apart from the retained list. So yeah, you know, just keep the notifications on. Like I said, if you haven't already, go and check out my other videos. Hopefully Rossiter is fit. I'm not sure when he's going to be fit, but all I've seen, I think it was on Bristol Live a few weeks ago, maybe even a month ago, saying that he's had a setback. So I hope it's not that much of a setback. But yeah, like I said, keep on notifications if we get some more signings in the next few days. Keep an eye, follow mine and Neil's Twitter, so you get notified on when there's a video, and of course, hit the notification bell on YouTube, and always keep smashing the likes. Obviously, subscribe if you're new as well. But likes really do help the video get out there, helps the algorithm of the channel. If they see more people liking it, then obviously it gets out there, and we can sort of get out and, you know, improve it as well. Like I said, I want to get more improvements on the channel, my camera, backdrop, you know, audio, etc. But yeah, thanks to everyone that tuned in. Leave a like and subscribe. Thanks to Neil, of course. Class again from him. Thanks to the two Jakes for coming on. Barber, of course, and Jake Tonge from the Lincoln stream. Make sure you go and subscribe to his new channel. It's called, what was it called? I can't remember. League of 72 or Channel 72. So really appreciate M2 for coming on. Thanks to the Orange Joker as well. Appreciate your comments earlier on as well. Great stream, guys. Have a good evening. Same to you. But yeah, leave a like, subscribe. And yeah, keep an eye out for any more videos, sign-ins. They'll be straight up on the channel as always. But yeah, again, thanks to everyone that tuned in on Facebook as well. But yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Hope you have a good few days. Enjoy your night as well. And we'll see you in the next one. Up the gas.